Does it make sense? Okay, then you might have to explain what you exactly mean by 0 to 1, where you're 10, and things like that. So then if somebody says that, listen, I'll tell you what, in some cases some people even told us that with their very minimalistic mindset they have, you know what, we don't have a whole lot of needs, we are making okay money, in that okay money we're surviving. And if that is the case, then do you think I should proceed further? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the mistake that we have made was that these are all yellow flags that you talk about. Okay, so we did not listen to the yellow flags, and initially we went with the attitude of giving the book. Okay, and when people ask them, if you ask about people, would you like to read the book, Robert Kiyosaki, all that stuff, people will say they want to read the book. But before you even came to that level, there was some yellow flags that you did not even address it. Does it make sense? So these are the yellow flags that you need to address. And some questions are a must, which is, why do you agree with me? And then right up front, one question that I have, after all this conversation that I had, the last, most of the time, this is the last question that I have, which is, are you familiar with network marketing industry? In my own words, use your own words. Okay, in fact, I'll tell you what, initially a lot of people, they were scared of bringing that word network marketing industry. They would not even talk about that. I'll tell you what, my thought process was, you're giving a book by Robert Kiyosaki which is all about network marketing industry. Why would you even shy away from bringing that? Does it make sense? So you see, here is what's happening, guys. When you should know, why are you bringing that question? What is your purpose asking that your candidate about network marketing industry? What are you trying to achieve? So the reason that you were asking that question is, again, it depends. If I'm talking to young guys, in most of the cases, the young people, half of the time, they have no idea about network marketing. But here's a but though. So this is what I said. So you mean to say that you never heard about network marketing industry? Not really. The answer comes, not really. Okay. Like just to give an example, there's a bunch of 5, 6 company names that I quote. This is how I quote. Okay, to give an example of network marketing industry, these are some of the companies who fall into this network marketing industry. That's how I brought the topic up front. So when I quote some of these examples of these names, oh, then people will say, then at that point of time, then sometimes they themselves say, yeah, I did this, I did that kind of thing. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So see, remember one thing, guys. See, every question that you ask, you should, in your mind, you should know why you're asking that question. What's the purpose of asking that question? Okay, so that's how I bring that thing. And about the industry. And the reason that I want to bring that network marketing industry is because if they are aware of the network marketing industry, I want to know how much do you know. Don't assume that everybody is negative about network industry. Don't assume that everybody is aware of network marketing industry. Some people don't know about network marketing industry. Some people know, but they have got a neutral feeling. Some people know, they have a negative feeling. All that is part and parcel of the entire thing. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So that is the reason I'm bringing that issue. Okay, so you see, it's a lot of people unnecessarily, without using brains, they say, oh, if you heard network marketing industry, are you willing to unlearn what you learned? Why? I mean, what is there? You didn't even listen to him. He never said he knows. He never told you here. They never told you if they're negative or positive, but you just heard from a CD. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, guys. Don't. I'm telling you, the reason I'm super excited about this thing is finally, man, I can be myself. Each and everyone here can be yourself. You can use your own personality. Okay, you can use your own thought process, and keep these things as a framework, as a guideline, and what you do within each step is left to you, basically. If you have that kind of thing, then everything will be very clear. Okay, by the way, some people ask a question about are you process oriented or outcome focused? What I'm saying is, Okay, you sit back and think, rehearse yourself. Okay, this question, if I'm asking the quality of your life question, you have to know why are you asking that question. For example, if that person says, I'm at 4, I'm at 5, I'm at 6, then your answer should be, uh, would you like to get to 9 or 10? Right? Does it make sense? If somebody says, or you could even say that if you have the guts, I mean, I would say that, I would even ask that, okay, if 4 or 5 or 6, let's say, this is my answer, this is how I normally answer. How long do you know that? How long do you know that you're at this 4 or 5 or 6? And sometimes I'll tell you what, sometimes the husband says he's at 6, the wife says I'm at 2. That happened sometimes because everybody's the numbers are different. So the whole idea is, see, why are you asking that question? So that at least then in that case, hey, you could talk about quality of life, getting to 10, getting to 9, getting to 10. That we could have a little bit of a dream. Mentorship, that's what helped us. Let's say in some cases you may not be at 9 or 10, but you know what, people who are coaching you, people who are mentoring you, they're at that level. Okay, the reason that I'm excited about is the people who I'm listening to, they're already there. I'm in the way of getting there. Does it make sense? So these are some of the things. That's how my MG1 typically goes. Okay, series of questions I have, and if you want to add some more questions where it makes sense to have a proper conversation, don't hesitate. If you want to add some other questions which can legitimately helping you in extending the conversation, in having a proper conversation about business discussion, ask them. Nothing wrong. There's nothing called as you only have to ask this. There's nothing like you have to finish in half an hour. I mean, don't put any conditions, guys. Go with a clean slate, clean mind, attitude of listening, attitude of getting to know them and knowing them where they are in life. Are they really, really mean that they're looking, they're open-minded? Those kinds of. Sometimes I even sometimes ask people about, hey, have you played any sports? Sometimes ask question, how do you accept failures? Have you failed in life? How do you deal with failures? Things like that. So let's see, this is how the MG1 happens. And the network marketing question again, if some people, if they're aware of network marketing, then I'll ask them, hey, just go ahead and share, what did you what have you heard, what have you heard, you know and sometimes they say they themselves are involved, or their aunt involved, their neighbor got involved, things like that. It could be somebody else. If it is positive, I said, that's great. Okay, and then folks, I'll tell you what, bottom line is, guys, that, I mean, most of the network marketing industry, they're all about, I mean, including us in the past, we did that too. Don't tell that we didn't do. All about sponsoring, helping themselves, get them in, sell the product. That was the thought process. So, and then by doing that, what was happening was, I mean, somehow you got them in, that's fine. They signed up, they have an ABO number, and now their real work started now. To come to open meeting, you need to beg them. To come to a function, you need to beg them. You need to buy the products, you need to beg them. Everything was a project, in most of the cases. Here, what we are telling them is, by helping them go through different steps, okay, I'll tell you what, it takes patience for them, and it takes patience for you. That is the reason I don't want to have any feeling of I have to get them in, I have to get them. I know what, I don't get emotionally attached to anybody. I mean, through the process. I mean, later on, as you build the friendship and everything, that will happen. But initially, I'm not emotionally attached. Let them prove. If they're really that good people, let them prove that they're really good. Okay, so this is, are you clear, guys? The reason that I spent so much time in MG1 is because that's the first step of a 7-step process. Okay, and if you do the first step properly, you could proceed further. And if you unnecessarily rush in the first step, and if your goal is to, okay, I need to have cross appointment, I need to have MG2, I need, if you want, yes, if you want to have that kind of attitude, then you're not doing a good job. You're not genuinely interested in getting to know them. Okay, that is again, the idea is obviously you need to work more, hard work, and you need to have more number of people in the process. When you have more number of people in the process, you are not really, it doesn't really, your attitude is, hey, I don't care, I'm doing the work, let them prove that they are really worthy of my time. If they prove that they're worthy of my time or my mentor's time, I will kind of continue the process. If not, I'm okay. But you can only say those things provided you have enough candidates that you're going to go through. If you only have one or two candidates that you only have one mg1 per week, or one mg1 in 2 weeks, or two mg1 in 3 weeks, something like that, then your desperation shows up. That desperation should not show up. If you're really in the process of selecting people, if you're really process of qualifying people, will you be desperate? You'll not be desperate. I mean, that's the way you should look at it, guys. If you apply for a job, how would I'll tell you what? If you're applying for a job, if the interviewer is desperate to hire you, man, you're thinking, why? What is so special about me that he's really, he really wants me so badly? You know what I'm saying? See, that has to be. Don't look desperate. Don't look. Those kinds of things. Again, some of the things you will learn. As you can get more experience. Okay, the key is, guys, to get your own experience. And also, let me guide you one more time. Every mg1 until the time, I mean, I don't know if it's legal or not legal. If you want to ask them, hey, listen, if you don't mind, can I have this conversation? I would like to record the conversation. Or if you just want to record. Again, you're recording the conversation not because you're giving it some. It's for your own learning purposes. Your own learning purposes. Say it, I'll tell you what I have done is, guys. Initially, how many of you heard huddle play huddle? Huddle play huddle. All of you heard, right? So what used to happen was, let's say, if Karthik and Gauri, let's say if I'm the Karthik and Gauri are my downline as an example. They're my people. They started doing their own mg1 things like that. Let's say I'm huddling with them as an example, right? So they will go do the work. They'll come back to me and say, hey, Manipal, this is what happened. I met this couple, I met this person, this is what happened, blah blah, all the stuff. This so many things happened. And based on what they're telling me, my feedback to them will be based on what they told me, right. That's what I'm saying. That actually, before even came back, huddle play huddle really means, before they really went back to mj1, they're trying to talk to me before. And just basically it's more like a preparation kind of thing. So mentally, kind of, having the rehearsal in their mind. Okay, this is their background, I may be talking to them about these questions, things like that. So that's the whole idea. They'll tell, and then they'll go talk to them and come back and express, this is what happened, those kinds of things. So then I thought about it. What, in reality, what happens is, they are there for, let's say, 45 minutes. They're coming back to me, and the entire 45-minute conversation, they are giving in about 10 minutes or so. In reality, there are a lot of things that they don't even know that they did certain things. For example, just give an example, right? I said, I'll tell you what, I told this my partner, my core IBO, listen, go ahead and record the mg1 and send it to me. Okay. And see, if you do that, it's beneficial for you in so many ways. Let's assume this one. So in this case, he recorded and sent it to me. I said, listen, I would like you to listen. And I'll also listen. Let's talk. Okay, what I found out was, let's assume that mentally I thought, okay, I'm based on my experience right now. I thought I wanted to make 3-4 points that I made up my mind that, he could have done better here, he messed up here, or he could make improvements. Let's say that's the 3-4 points that I have, that I would like to say, that I want to pass on to them. So then let them hear. Let's say Karthik and Gauri heard this, their own mg1. Okay, then I'm going to ask them, hey, listen, you heard you heard your mg1, right? Yeah, I heard about. Give me a feedback. I'm assuming that if they're really thinkers, I know they are. And I'll tell you what, I'm really hoping that I'm thinking 4 points I need to correct. If you're coming back to it saying that, oh man, MG1 was awesome, everything went great. So which means I'm going to ask, so which means you did not see anything that you need to be corrected? No, 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 everything was great. Which means I'm thinking, mentally, I'm thinking, man, these guys are not getting it. Let's say if they come back and say that, yeah, you know what, this couple of steps I made a mistake there. I did not answer that question when they said, and I could have handled this. There was a potential yellow flag there. I should have addressed that yellow flag, or I did not answer this properly. Let's assume that is they say that. You know what? Those 2 points that they mentioned, they're already part of my four. Okay, now the four is out of four. Those two are matching. They're done great. So I'm only going to make corrections on those two. Does it make sense? Does it make sense what I'm saying? I need some. Okay, okay. I'll tell you one time what happened is I'm listening to an MG1 from somebody. This was initial stages right now. You know what? If I did not listen to the MG1 as an example that he has done, he would never have given the feedback. I'll tell you what he has done. He has done a great job of so many different things. I was happy actually, but one thing that I was not happy was I mean in about a 35-minute talk or MG1, he had used the word mentor at least 40 times. Every second word mentor, mentor, mentor. I mean, if I was there sitting there, man, if you're talking about mentor, mentor should be here now. Why I'm talking to you? You know what I'm saying? So I did if I did not hear the MG1, I would not have told him, listen, I was able to tell him that, listen, everything was great. In fact, since I listened, I was in certain points, this guy really, there was certain yellow flag somewhere. He got that right away. He addressed the yellow flag, which was a good sign. I was very happy to know that. But this mentor using so many, that is kind even he did not know that he was saying that. Unknowingly was using it. Unknowingly. That's what I'm saying, guys. This is the beautiful thing about the entire process is it will force you to think. You should reflect upon every step of the process. You should think back, okay, what could have happened? How did the conversation went? What did they say? What did I say? How did we answer? Those kinds of things. Does it make sense? So this is like how the MGO1 is done, basically. Okay, MGO1. See, the entire process, everything about conversation. Bottom line. Okay. Now, if I feel everything good about, that's when I offer them the book. I'll obviously when I offer them the book, I tell them. I mean, in our case, in US, I have physical copy with me, and I'll give it to you. And I'll talk about Robert Kiyosaki, what he has done, and I tell them this is it's a great book, blah blah blah, about his credentials and everything. And I talk to them about what he has done and what the book could potentially could do for them. And I'll ask them, hey, how long do you think that it will take for you to read the book? You know, somebody says 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 1 week is okay. I'm not going to. If the guy says 3 weeks, then I'll have to address the problem right there. And why would it take 3 weeks to read a 115 pages book? It's easy to read book, you know. And well, if that guy is saying that I'm traveling or I'm on vacation or something like that, I'll at that point I'll even hesitate to think whether I should read the book or not. You know what? Let's meet one more time after coming back from vacation. Who knows? I mean, if he says I have a deadline coming up, I'll not have any time for the next 3 weeks, whatever. Then I have to see, guys. Listen, it's okay to take it back. It's okay. Don't bend over backwards to make that. Oh, everything went fine. I need to give the book. Even at the time of giving the book, okay, you need to. As I said, my rule of thumb is this: about 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 1 week is okay. Even if it's a 10 days, they'll ask, hey, listen, it's easy to read book. It's not like really your chemistry book or something. It's not that complicated here. It's simple. But why would it? Well, I'm a slow reader, or I'm going on. Then I'll address to them and I'll help them to read it. There is, again, guys, there's a big difference in reading the book in 3 to 4 days, or the same book reading in 15 days. If somebody reads the book, same book in 15 days, they're not grasping that much. Somebody reads the book within a short amount of time. Not short amount of doesn't mean that in one sitting. Short amount of time for me is about 3 to 5 days, based on my experience. Does it make sense? Do you understand the purpose? I'm telling this is very, very crucial, guys. I'm telling you, if at the first step, I'll tell you this really in the entire process, this is really the foundation. This is the foundation right now. Okay. So when I give the book, this is what I say. I said, listen, Karthik, let's say, let's at that time I'm going to really, I'll just say, listen, take 4 days, 6 days, whatever time. Let's meet. I need to, once we would like to definitely have get together one more time, and then this book will explain you different about different things, and I want to meet up with you on so and so date, whatever time. Okay, and let's say 5 days from now, 6 days from now. So what I do, Karthik, listen, once you read about 3 or 4 chapters, send me a text. I just tell them, send me a text. I want to see if they start reading the book or not. And sometimes what happens is if the gap is so much, 1 week, you don't know, then you're waiting, the MG2 date has come, and you're going there with the assumption that they read the book and came, right? You're assuming that. So this is one way of saying that, hey, if that guy did not, if he did not read the book and coming to meet me, then he wasted my time. This is just a correction along the way that I thought maybe, what people do text me back saying that I did, and I started reading the book. If there's somebody doesn't, if they did not start reading the book, if they did not text me in 3 days, I will text them back. Hey, Karthik, what happened? I did not hear back from you. So let them say, maybe they came here just for the sake of doing it and they forgot about it. Then what does it tell me? Then he's not the right candidate. He's not, unless something major happened, or that's a different story. But thing is, if somebody has let's say if I have great conversation, he took my book and went back with excitement. After 4 days, still did not start reading the book. What's it telling me? Not accountable. Those kinds of things. So again, I'm not going to be so bookish that I'll not give him a chance to him. I want to hear from him. What happened, man? Sometimes some emergencies happen, so that's a different story. But if we really say, oh, I forgot about it, things like that, then red flag. Things like that. So that's the whole idea. Okay. So now that I'm hoping that he read the book and MG2 came. By the way, how many of you have that process? Do you have that? We made a sheet. That's the guidelines, process guidelines. That is a guideline prepared by our team, and we just this again. There's guideline to follow to make sure that you kind of do within the framework there. MG2 is very simple. I'll get a chance. Sit again, small talk for a few minutes there, and I just thought, hey, just go ahead. But what caught your attention? That's something like that about the book. I'll tell you what, if somebody read the book 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, the book gets them. If they read the book 8 or 9 times out of 10, they get the. I'll tell you what, that's when, for example, if they're not excited, if the eyes are not showing up, they're not smiling, then the body. I think thing is body language is really key. Observe them properly. Okay, so in MG2, let them talk about that, and I mentioned about again in MG2, talking about napkin plan and different things that we talk about, and what we see, I'm sure if MG1 is done properly, they read the book, they came here, and few other things, and I just wanted to see again, you're not trying to test their knowledge about the book, the whole attitude of how accountable they are. Did the book got them? Okay, and they are definitely, if they're excited, then in so many ways they're talking about bringing you to the meeting kind of thing. Okay, so just napkin plan, and then the concepts of network marketing, those kinds of thing. And the most important thing, guys, is let's assume that like you pretty much know what to do with the guidelines are already there. But one thing that in closure of MG2 is very, very key. Okay, this is what we have done, and by making these adjustments, literally right now, I'll tell you, in the last 15-20 people that we have done, MG1s, all the stuff, I just had one no-show. And that one, that one no-show, I know why it happened. because I was the one who did not handle certain. There was some yellow flags. Then I went back and reflected upon why, what happened, everything. And then you know what? There was a couple of things I did not handle. I rushed into it. In fact, I was driving somewhere. He was asking some questions. I just pushed him. Hey, just come to the meeting. I'll just talk about that. Instead of that, I should have taken some time. I would have addressed that. I would have known whether that guy is coming or not. Okay, but anyway, this is what I normally close that. For example, now here, Karthik, and I'll just talk to them. I say, listen, the closure of my MG2 will be obviously what the extension is. What I would like you to get you into a private business meeting. Whatever term that you use. Okay, invitational only meeting, that kind of thing. I'll tell him, listen. If you want to give one choice or two choices, but see again, guys, by this time you should know the calendar. See the conversation that you already have. If you let's assume that every Monday they're evening they're busy, or every Tuesday they're busy, as for whatever reason, I would not even bring Tuesday or meeting because they told me they're busy. That makes sense, right? So again, based on that, I just give them one or two options, and then I say, listen, if I can get you a place in my private business meeting, can you clear the calendar? This is what I'm going to tell. Listen, once I get an okay from you, once you are really, really sure that you can make it to the meeting, I will have to go back and make some phone calls. I have to do some background work on your behalf, to get your seat there. And I need some time. But unless I get an okay from you, I'll not do the work. Are you with me so far? See, I'll tell you, this is how you get the confirmation from them. First of all, I ask them, okay, my private business meeting is so and so time, so and so place, right? Are you okay? Can you clear your calendar? Just because they said I'm okay, then I'm not going to say, okay, come. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, listen, I will have to do some background work to make sure to secure a place. I mean, let's assume that I'm meeting them on, let's say my meeting on Saturday or maybe Thursday. If the meeting is Tuesday, okay, I'll tell them, listen, I need at least 1 day time for me to get a confirmation. If the meeting is so close, I need a few hours time. Then I'll call them one more time and listen. I was able to get a place for you, and then I'll tell them business dress, dress code, and get a notepad kind of way. That I'll tell you, if you prepare. See, the entire thing about, guys, is about the whole process about what? The whole process about preparing people for business ownership. And the fact that when they are coming to my business presentation for the first time, I already prepared them to have dress code properly, timing, get a notepad, get a notebook. Okay, I'll tell you, these days, I mean, I tell you one more thing that I've observed, guys, is people are coming ahead of time. If it is 7:30, they're coming at 7:30 for sure. Okay, a lot of times, what we observed is that so many times the candidates showed up, they were sitting in the hotel lobby, and then our dear partners, IBOs, they show alarm, say they come up whenever time they want to come. But old habits. Again, guys, the environment. See, the environment of the open meeting is very crucial. I'll recommend, I'll tell you when the open meeting. Okay, now are you with me? Are MG2 done? MG2, I just rushed in because not a whole lot. There's some steps to be done, but in my opinion, the most important thing in MG2 is the closure. If you feel good about it, if somebody comes back and says that, well, I read the book, or I did read the book, I'm not interested, then close the chapter. Don't write. That's it. Done. Let's move on. No big deal. Okay, you're going to invite them only if you felt good about that they read the book, they're almost begging you what the next steps are. Okay, then at that point, you're going to tell them, listen, you'll prepare them. The next is going to be 1 hour presentation. One of my senior partner or my mentor, my coach will be there. I'm going to introduce them. There's all preparation for the board plan 1. You tell them all these things in MG2. You tell them all the time in MG2. Okay, are you okay with so far? So preparation, and then proper. When you do that, they are coming. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 people are coming. They're coming well planned, resting. And then when that happens, now let's come back to board plan 1 now. Open meeting, a business orientation. When that happens, folks, you as partners, you are IBOs, you better dress up properly. You come on time. Okay, lot of times, again, guys, you see, when they come here, they're observing. They're not telling you, but it's very obvious. Is energy in the room? Is energy in the room? And if the speaker is saying and you're sitting next to him, whatever, if you are on the cell phones, which means, I'll tell you, little things do matter. Okay, I'll tell you, for that 1 hour, just put the cell phones away. You, even though you heard the same this thing, you just listen to a speaker. Very important, guys. This is what we. I mean, this is how the environment is done properly. If it's a good environment, the energy has to be there. The dress code, the language, the smiles. Sitting on the edge of the chair. Those, I'm telling you, there's little things to matter. Don't get up in halfway through and walk. Those kinds of things. So. And then if they don't have a notebook and a pad, you give it. But most of them, they themselves will have a notebook and a pad, those kinds of things. And then presentation is done. And then one thing I'll tell you with the presentation is, I know you do have slides here. Do you have point? Okay, okay, 16 slides. Okay, how long do the presentation is? Okay, okay. I'll tell you what. Listen, 45 minutes, 50 minutes is good, but don't be in a time pressure. See, some people will tell you what. I'll tell you, this is what happened in our cases. Some people took the other extreme. Some people became so time conscious, they were just reading the slides, half an hour, the plan is done. See, here's what I'm saying, guys. Listen, at the same time, see, if you do the presentation half an hour, that's not good. If you do the plan in 2 hours, that's not good. Half an hour is not good, and 2 hours is too long for somebody's patience. Nobody will have the patience to listen 2 hours. Okay, so 45 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, I'm okay with that. But in that 1 hour, what are you talking about? That's very crucial. See, you built up the candidate so much. MG1 you met, MG blah blah blah. You read the book. He's sitting there with proper information, expecting some meat and potatoes, expecting some information to be given. Right? You better give the problem. I'll tell you what I would like to do is, for example, anybody for that matter. It could be Shankar, it could be MPR, anybody. We know all. See, remember one thing, guys. All of you have achieved so much in your careers, in your lives. Okay? And I would say initially, first 5 to 10 minutes or so, build up your story. Build up your story. You are somebody thing. You are somebody special. I mean, I'll tell you what. Again, in some cases, let's say you are, let's say, platinum or somebody. You may not have a lifestyle. You may not have retired. That's okay. That's okay. But you already have a story to tell. Okay. The last thing that you really want to do is get into slides right away. They get into slides away and read. That is not the way, guys. See, remember, the slides are given to you so that you're kind of within the boundaries. Otherwise, if the slides are not there, everybody speaks randomly, anything will happen. But keep the slides as in the back of your mind. And I would say that initially 10 minutes, basically, again, introducing yourself and then your story and how you got into this thing. And that is a very powerful thing to talk. Very powerful thing. And a lot of people don't do that. So, get them there. And that's how, again, that's what happens when you're doing that. That's also almost, even though it's a presentation, an open meeting, even the presentation also should look like a conversation. And also make it interactive. If you're doing the presentation, talk to some people, let them ask, definitely ask them some question. It has to be interactive. If it's not interactive, bring audience when you're showing the plan, bring the audience into the equation. You should bring the audience into the equation. Okay, so again, this board plan 1 is basically, from your point of view, it's basically preparation, how the environment, coming on time, those kinds of things. And then at the board plan 1, we normally give lit pack, whatever, and then you eat. I mean, here, whatever at the end of the, you give the CD tracks, those kinds of things, right? You pass on the talk. Do that, and then set up a time to meet up for follow through one, right? So again, guys, in follow through one, there are some guidelines. In effect, if you look at the process guidelines, asking questions like, see, one thing for again, remember every step. Okay, so for mg1 mg2 is what about why and who, about who are we, why are we meeting. And when I came to board plan one, from see, mg1 mg2, you really did not entertain any questions so far. You did not entertain any questions so far, right? You cannot keep on telling them I'll not answer the questions. Follow through one, it's when it becomes into Q&A. It's okay if they ask questions. You cannot keep on saying that. See, if they ask some detailed questions about products and this and that, based on what it is, you can always say, okay, no problem. Hey, let's understand your question. We are not there yet. You can say that. But every question that they have got, you cannot keep on saying we are not there yet. At MG1, if somebody is asking you about certain things, you can definitely say that, hey, you're not there yet. Okay, but from here, from later on, after BP1, after follow through one, again, questions like, hey, I really see I really want to understand how much. The whole idea, guys, is I want to understand how much they really learn from the plan. You and I know that most of the plan for the first time, if this whatever this is, most of the people, they would not understand the plan for the first time. You know that. Okay, questions like, hey, what caught your the other day when you came to a meeting, what caught your attention? Do you understand how the money is made? Do you understand how the money is made? Basically, you're trying to see the plan. I'll tell you one of the questions that I even ask. Hey, have you shared? You know what? I'll tell you what. Have you shared this excitement with somebody? I even talk to them. So I say that it's not given the process. I say that because the reason is I want to know if they spoke to somebody else. Even though you tell them not to speak all the stuff, people will speak to somebody. Do you know that already? Have you shared this? If it is a young guy, as 22, 23-year-old guy, hey, did you discuss this with your parents? Let them say. Sometimes people are still not honest. They certain times they say they did something, they won't do that. So again, coming back to follow through again, guys. You see, the whole idea is, but at the follow through one as an example. You're coming into some discussions about certain things. You're getting a little bit details now, how the money is being made, what is the role of BWW. Okay, but by the way, guys, coming back to let's go back to BP1 again. Okay, if you're one of the ones who are presenting the plan, when it comes to BWW stage, take some time and explain to people what does this mentorship really means. Don't rush into that. If you remember, mentorship, what does it mean? Maybe in some cases, if you want to share your own experience about how the mentorship has helped you in progressing, in moving your life forward, it could be your own examples. Things like that. Talk about the value of what BWW stood for. I'll tell you, this is wonderful opportunity for you to take, I would say, at least take about 5-6 minutes to understand what the BWW is all about. The importance of attending to meetings and where were you when before this thing, before the BWW educational system, without the mentorship program, you're a completely different man. Because of that, I did this, blah, and again, your own story. That makes sense what I'm saying? So that's coming, and then again, let me move to a follow-up one again. So follow through one, we already talked about a bunch of things, right? So there are different steps, 5-6 different things, and then they will ask some questions. Okay, just don't worry, answer the questions as much as possible. If they're getting too many details, they can always tell. But if it's general question, answer them. Don't worry about it. And then I'll close my follow-up. One would be basically follow through one. Closing would be inviting them to meetings for the second time. That's board plan 2. Okay, and same thing again. Board plan 2. Book them into board plan 2. Let them come, and then, guys, listen. One thing for board plan 2 to follow up one. Sometimes it could take 3 days. Sometimes it could take 4 days. Whatever time, 1 week. It's okay. No big deal. Okay, so just again come again. I'm not again followed again. Most of the times already pretty clear. So that's where it follow up through. By the time follow through is done, that's when you got about partnership terms that talk about using the products. Where the money is coming from. And that's when I'll tell you what. One thing the process has done for all of us folks is we are encouraging people to do the volume on the first of the month. I mean, that's huge, folks. I'm telling you. See, listen, when you're talking about asset, do you understand what asset is the business? See, I truly believe your true asset is the number of people that you have in the organization, and the number of people who are putting the volume on the first of the month is your asset. What are we doing in the process so that we build it once, and the volume stays? That is the whole idea. That is the whole idea of creating a permanent volume. The permanent volume is the one who people are joining the business, understanding why they're joining the business, why they're getting into the business, why they're being offered the partnership, and the importance of people doing the volume in the beginning of the month. Okay, that's the partnership terms are extremely important, guys. I'm telling you, your goal should be, if people are not listening to the tools, people are not coming to functions, I don't care what it is, they will not grow the business. They cannot. I'll tell you, just because process, don't expect miracles. Don't process, I took them through 7 steps, he knows what to do. No, they better be launching into every, I don't know, if BWW is offering an app, I will promote it big time. For me and my wife to give our time to somebody else, they better do certain things. Again, for example, if you're teaching a class, right, the professor asks you to buy a book. Professor will ask you to read a notebook. There are certain things. So say, why are we compromising? We will not be compromising at all. People will say that they can get a cheaper book outside. I cannot. Somebody is going to. No. These partnership terms are, you need to create the volume. You need to be subscribing to all the technology packages with technology. You need to come into functions. Okay, there's something called as monthly, weekly activity, monthly and quarterly, yearly, those kinds of things. But prepare them ahead of time. If you do it right, 8 or 9, I'll tell you, some people came to function as an example. Let's take a sample size of 10 people, let's say as an example. 10 people came for the last time to function. They went through the process, they came to function. 8 to 9 of them for the next function, we don't have to promote. They already bought the tickets. Because you know why? We are emphasizing the partnership terms. We are emphasizing the value of mentorship. We are emphasizing why those. I mean, this is all valid points. If I'm creating my asset, that's my thought process about about who these people are, what they should be doing on a regular basis. And again, these things you got to continue to hit hard, guys. I'm telling you, first of the month volume in America, we have something called D to delivery. We have that. In India, we may not have that. For whatever reason, I understand the reasoning why they don't have it, but it's all educational. You got to educate your people, and before you educate people, you go ask yourself, have you done your volumes on the first of the month? What is your volume on the first of the month? Have you put in the volume, or are you still keep on waiting? Come with promotion, this promotion, that promotion, that they may come. Okay, if it's second of the month, if coming up with all the promotions, okay, put your volume on the second of the month. But don't keep on postponing. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is, guys, what we are talking about process is basically this thing. One is structure. This is the difference between BW is all about structure, volume. Okay, even here also we have volume. Volume is both sides. Here what we do is structure plus volume. That's what we do. That is that is the reason, guys, we're talking about eagle plus double eagle. Okay, 6, 9, 12. Okay, I'm telling you right now, what we're talking about is Ruby with 20 partner on and legs. Checks. Okay, so I mean, you know what, this could be one more thing of slowing down to speed up. Most of the time in the past, by the time they went platinum, most of the time they had 3 PV checks, 4 PV checks, 5 PV, at the most 6 PV checks maximum. Folks, that mentality has to change. That mentality has to change. Wherein, you see, what that's what I'm saying. See, as you keep you, in fact, your goal, as you do the process, guys, your goal should be to at least launch one, try for two, hopefully, if not at least one launch per month. One launch per month. Okay, and then, by the way, once you sign them up and everything, don't assume anything. Again, new people, they don't know they got launched now. Okay, I mean, a lot of times people assume, oh, it's a law, it's process done properly, they should know everything. No, don't assume they know everything. How will they know? You guys still have to do the product work, demonstrations, and educating them about, teaching them. I'll tell you what, in the first 2 to 3 months, you will have to spend enough time with them, with products, with modeling. I mean, teaching them how to contact people, how to make phone calls, how to do texting, how to answer the questions, things like that. So a lot of coaching is involved. But the thing is, the beautiful thing is, guys, once they learned it. That's the beauty. You don't have to repeat it again and again and again. In the past, what we have done is we were rushing into everything. We were rushing. Now, here, what we do, guys, is when you launch somebody, we take enough time with them, coaching them about products, about about how to teach them, how to develop the story. How to develop the story. Once they launch, one of the first thing is develop the story. In fact, new people will talk to their people. No matter what, they will talk to their people. Before they talk to their people, you work on people's story. And if they tell the story properly, then less damage control will happen. In the past, what used to happen is, out of sheer excitement, people will say anything they want to say. And by the time that you realize, they've really literally exhausted their list, and there's nothing to work on. Whereas with process, guys, you work with the new person. That we talk through A, B, C list, right? A, B, C. C is completely DTM, cold contacts, those kind of thing. A and B list, with process, if you do it properly with A and B list, you could have tremendous momentum. Because everybody knows somebody that you don't know. But the thing is, in the past, we have not coached them properly. You've not prepared them properly. Now that they're launched, you should educate them, sit with them. Hey, tell. And then the story, one more thing is, the story cannot be refined developed in one setting. It might have to go different iterations of developing the story. And eventually to come to the point where they feel should come, their story should become natural to them. When the story becomes natural to them, and then when they are going in and talking to their prospects, their future partners, then it becomes much easier. Okay, so a lot of time is spent in coaching. A lot of investment is done upfront, ahead of time, with products, with coaching, about how to talk to people, how to text them, what to say, and how to handle those questions and everything. Very crucial. If you do them properly, then you know what? In future, you really avoided a lot of damage control, really. Okay, you might think, oh my goodness, I'm spending so much time on each one of them. But every hour you spent with them ahead of time in the initial stages, in preparing them in every step, that's much more valuable. Are you with me so far? Okay, so it's all methodology, it's all mindset. It's not different steps. 1, 2, 3 steps is done, 7 step is done. Not like that. I'll tell you what, even now, some organization, I'll tell you what, Kanti, myself, Kumar, Raj, and Kuli, most of the Gala Diamonds, I'll tell you what, we are completely sold out on the process, and we understand. Again, initial stages, all of us made mistake. In fact, I'll tell you the mistake that I made. Okay, I was thinking, man, who can be better people's person than me? That was my thought process, right? Oh, I'm extremely good people. People love me. I'll get along with anybody. You know what? Let me do one thing. It's MG1, MG2. I'm going to combine together. I've done it. I'm telling you, I've done it. I'm telling you, whatever people thought about doing, we have done it. We have done it. You do it the right way or don't do it at all. Really. Otherwise, you'll be frustrated about that. I'm telling you, that is the reason. Understand. I'm telling you, I'm sure each one, everybody, how many of you have Dean and Marcy Wayland stocks? Okay, I want you to, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you, how I have personally learned it. Okay, Dean and Marcy Whalen talks, a few of them. I studied like a subject. Okay, that, I mean, again, for me to learn, you see, this is something that I could not depend on anybody, because luckily for us, we had access to some talks, and it was like notebook, no phone call. I'll tell you, most of it is late night. I know 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, nobody's going to call me. In the night time, I treated like a subject, notebook, this talk, rewind, write notes, rewind, write notes, rewind, many, many times. Every few months I would go back. After, let's assume that I did bunch of work in 2 3 months like that. Okay, I learned certain things. Again, go back, listen to that. Okay, listen. I mean, that's how we learned. That's how we learned. And you need to do similar thing. You know, you need to do similar thing. That's how we learn. And then most of your learning, as I said, even though I've learned, I see the information that we had, we passed on everything to you guys. You have the information. We don't. I'll tell you what. We don't hold any information back. We gave it to you already. But the thing is, what are you doing with the information that you have? Okay, now that you have information that you have learned, and the next thing is, I want you guys to develop and get your own experience. That's the best education. Your personal education, your personal experience that you go in the field is the best education. Okay, so I said every time that I'm talking right now, I mean, there was situation. If you really go back and see why certain things did not happen, you know, it goes back to the previous step. If the MG2 did not happen properly, so which means what I've done in MG1, I did not handle certain things properly. Okay, so this is how we learned. You will make your mistakes. Don't hesitate to make the mistakes. And process is the most beautiful thing that happened for us. And you know what? Again, don't let anybody push the volume, especially. Company. I'll tell you what. Again, we will talk to company, and again, I mean, you will not see a lot of kit flow. I don't care about kit flow. I care about productivity of the IBOs. At the end of the day, and the company knows that once the volume, we all get paid by volume. Okay, all we are saying, guys, is we will create the volume, but let's create the volume in the right way. And it's not a 1 month volume, it's all the month volume. It's not the end of the month volume, it's the beginning of the month volume. Okay, that is, I mean, that's your asset is. Again, for your people, for your group to do the beginning of the month volume, you have to ask yourself on the first or the second example. Some people tell me that in India they give some promotions on the first or the second of the month. Whatever that, but it is good third, I don't care, it's third. Okay, and by third, if company says third is the day that you have promotions, let's say, on that day, what is your volume? Okay, not only group volume, how about you as leaders? What is your what is your personal volume? That is how the volumes are maintained. That is how the business, I'll tell you guys, if you do it guys, the business continuously gets progressed. It's not a 1 month deal. Let's go back and understand the process one more time. So, do you understand the mindset behind the whole thing, right? You understand it's all about mindset. I mean, bottom line, guys, everybody, again, it's, you see, you have to be disciplined. You have to discipline to work hard. I mean, whatever it is, you see, just because it's process. In fact, I'll tell you what, you need to be reading more today than ever before. You need to be, if you for process to really work, you really need to develop, sharpen in a big way. In terms of having the conversations, listening to people properly. How many of you read the book called Crucial Conversations? There's a book I would recommend. I would recommend each and everyone to read a book called Crucial Conversations. Okay, I want you to see the book will help you a lot. Called Crucial Conversations. The book title of the book is called Crucial Conversations. Okay, this will help you. Okay, so for a process to work, you better really be prepared to work very hard. Okay, it's a most beautiful thing. I'm telling you, 2 3 years for I'll tell you what we are talking about, guys, is we are completely sold out on this, guys. You know what? I'll tell you what, let's not even talk about platinum ship. You should be talking about ruby ship with 20 part hour index. Really, we are unnecessarily, I'll tell you what, lot of times in the past, we never focused on structure. Everything, volume, 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 platinum, platinum, platinum. But you never focus on how many PV checks are you paying, how much profitable you are. You need to be profit. I'll tell you, folks, if you build the business properly, you will be profitable at each and every step. It should be, I'm telling you, in fact, right now, going forward, you should be building the business with a position of strength. The position of strength is how many PV checks are you paying out? I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter. You know what? That maybe you were until now, before the process, maybe for you it was 1.0. Going forward, post process, with process, let's say 2.0. But I'll tell you what, you will be, if you learn this thing, if you educate yourself properly, if you understand the mindset behind the process, you will be so happy. You'll be so happy, but it'll take some time. Okay, don't rush into it. Take some time. It is a system where you have the resources available. Study, study, study. Record yourself. Reflect upon yourself. If you do reflect upon, means thinking about what you have done. Okay, I'll tell a lot of times people are in a hurry to do, kam khatam karna hai, kam khatam karna hai, like that. It's ho gaya, ho gaya, ho gaya. It cannot be like that. It has to be a quality work. It has to be a proper work. It has to be a work where you used our brains. Let's attract quality. Let's bring the good people. And I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm going to recommend, guys, is your future depends on how you're promoting your mentorship, how you're promoting BWW. I'll tell you, without BWW, some of you you will get a pin. But I'm not sure if the volume will sustain. Without the leadership, it will not sustain. Without the system, it will not sustain. Okay, go back and ask yourself. Go tonight and maybe draw your group. How many people are really subscribing to all the BWW tools? Not you. In your group. I know you are all. And first of all, you got to ask. I'll tell you guys, if you're sitting here, the first thing that you got to ask is, how many subscriptions are you having right now? Number one. The next thing that you need to check is, you need to see how many people in your group are subscribing. I'll tell you again, one thing is, why are you even asking that question? The reason that you're asking that question is, you want your people to develop a proper mindset. Right? You want your people to read good books. You want your people to read, listen good information. You want your people to that is the reasoning behind it, not blindly for anything. Does it make sense? So that is the reason, guys. You know what? You have to make it a point. Your long-term security is, tell you what, company will stay, they'll produce the products, they'll give you the volume and everything. But the kind of questions that you need to ask yourself is, what kind of business I'm going to develop? What is my security? What is my security? Okay, I'm going to develop a business where I get the pin once and then I don't know what happens next month. I'll tell you what, people who have just boldly built the business for the pin for 1 month, for 1 fiscal year, I don't see them anymore. I don't know what the security is. You know what? I'll tell you, our leaders who are listening to us, they're always thinking long term. They're looking at the structure. They're looking at the system parameters. They are the ones who are growing. They're the ones, I'll tell you, what, more than anything else, guys, they're so strong. They're happily building the business. They're not concerned about whatever other people are doing. They're just minding their businesses. Okay, they're growing mentally. They're focusing on what they need to do to improve their businesses. Does it make sense? So that's how you build a business, guys. That is the idea behind process. The process is I'll tell you guys, we're relieved of so many things. I'm just focusing on mindset. I'm focusing on helping people think the right way and be themselves. And this guideline, the 7 steps are there. Within each step, you have enough room. We are not kind of people. I'll tell you, a lot of people, what they do is, they just do that line. They force people to draw the line and just walk on the line. That's not it is. So what we're doing in process, we have, let's say, these guidelines are there. The boundaries are there. What you do within the boundary, based on your personality, based on whom you're talking to, based on you. That's what I'm saying. That is the reason you think about what exactly needs to be done. And I'm telling you guys, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, you master this thing, you continue to teach your group, guys. You will be the most happiest, most productive people, and you're happily building the business. That's the whole idea. you know that is the whole idea. Not just one turn, not just one time. I'm not interested in one time. I'm not interested in one time pin. I don't care. I don't want the one time pin. I want a pin that can sustain with leadership. I mean, look at the business like Kanti and Kumar and Raj and all this. I mean, they have a huge businesses, man. you know they all have huge businesses. They have not developed these huge businesses overnight. They develop because of thought process, the hard work, and everything. But we are the reason. I'm telling you guys, we have. I truly, in my case, I mean, the energy, the excitement that I have. I truly believe that I'm just getting started. You know, because this thing with process is so good. I mean, so pure. And I don't have to. I can be just myself. I can be upfront with people. I can educate people. I can tell people prepare properly. I'm telling you, listen, man. When was the last time that people? I'm telling you, the main thing that frustration used to be, people would not buy the products. People would not come to function. People would not. They would not. They would not doing the thing that they're supposed to do for business to run properly. Whereas here, if you go through the process properly, you're not going to hesitate to tell them, yes, it takes investment. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes patience. Yes, it's a 2 to 5 year plan. It's not a 2 to 5 week plan. It's a 2 to 5 year plan. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes hard work. You got to come to meetings. You got to read. You got to use the products. You got to sell the products. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to apologize to say any of those things, because that's what it takes to succeed. That's how you prepare people. So business ownership is not for nothing. See, not everybody, I tell you, not everybody is meant to do business. Some people are meant to be employees. That's okay. Let them be employees. Okay, that's okay. No problem. I'm not going to put them down. That's fine. But if I need to put my time with people, I want to prepare people for business ownership so that our time is being efficiently used. That's the whole idea. That's what process is all about. It's not technique. It's not 7 steps. It's a preparation. It's a leadership thing. It's really preparing people for business ownership. That's what process is all about. Does it make sense? That's how you learn, guys. You learn. I mean, you know what? It's a 3 to 6 months of good. Put in the effort. Study. And I'm telling you, the beautiful thing is, each one of us here, all of us have different personalities, different way of thinking, but each one of us can make the process fit in your personality. It can make process fit in your personality. The 7 steps are just framework. The framework. Okay, I'll tell you what, I don't care. By the way, some people say, but this guy came to BP1, he's ready to, I mean, his answer, he's asking me to sign up right now. You know what? The answer is no. The answer is no. I don't care. He's excited. But I'll tell you, you know what? I'll tell you, see, that guy, somebody came for BP1, follow-up 1, he's excited. Some people think that he's excited. What's wrong in signing up, let's say. Nothing wrong. But you know what? If business of duplication, that's what they have learned. That's what they'll do. You see, in this case, he might have got it. That's okay. In this case, he might have got it. Right. But I'm looking long-term. It's okay. You know what? Hey, he's thinking he's ready to sign up. But I know he has not finished those 7 steps at least. Okay? Let him come. Wait for 1 more week. If the business is good today, it will be good tomorrow. If it's good tomorrow, it will be good next week. I'm not in a hurry. In fact, I'll tell him, listen, if the guy is excited, you know what? I'm going to tell him, listen, you think that you may be ready, but in our experience, you still need to understand some more. Tell them that it's in a nice way. And then don't put people down. Nice way. Okay, and then I'll not compromise. Now, one thing is, guys, I will not shorten the process. I'll not compromise the steps. I'll not shortcut the process. These are steps that we do. In every step has a meaning and a value to do, and that is something that you individually, if you get into your mind saying that, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of MG1? Why am I even asking that question? Why am I, see, what I'm trying to see when I ask this question, what am I trying to get? Why did I ask that question? If those things are clear, guys, process is automatic. You got it. Whereas a lot of people, they just go there. Oh, I asked the questions. I asked the questions. It doesn't. Why did you ask the question? What did you get? What did you learn? Does it make sense? So, guys, bottom line, folks, is you learn this thing and promote the value of mentorship, the leadership, promote the educational system, guys. You do this, you will grow places. Thank you.